Howdy, folks. It's Howie Cat, brought to you by Kellogg's Pep Cereal. I'm just saying that because that was in a radio show commercial. Well, let's get into this. I read these comics. They are more of a prestige thickness comic, but it's smaller than a regular comic. Do I have a regular? I do have a regular comic next to me. They're nice and thick. They are smaller in size, so kind of a manga size. And but the inside doesn't skimp. It's really nice. It is manga-esque art on the interior. Anyways, this series of 3 books is called Superman Smashes the Klan. And it's based on a Superman radio drama from 1946, I want to say, called Superman versus the Klan of the Fiery Cross. Neither of these use the word that has 3 Ks in a row, and I'm going to be very careful about that term, because I think I mentioned that I'm doing this review of a radio show and a book and stuff about Superman versus the blank, blank, blank. Posted that to Jason in his live, and I think YouTube censors blocked it because I said the word with the 3 Ks in a row. So I'm not going to say that here. Of course, I may have other foul language by accident. I don't know. Anyways, this is a very, very fun, very good story. What we start off with, and I'm going to spoil this. I don't think any of you are going to run out and either pick this up or listen to the radio drama. So if you're worried about spoilers and you really do want to check out a radio drama from 1946 or a book based on it, then I don't know, skip ahead. I do have a little stuff I pre-recorded for the ending that is based on, if you look, I'll tell this right now. If you look, this is my setup. My camera's on a tripod. My camera is an iPhone. It's on just a tripod. That's all my equipment. I'm at my desk where I work. As you can see, this is my keyboard, the books, mouse pad. There's not a lot of room here because I work here. I sit here and print up labels, pack orders, and I really haven't set up a spot for doing videos. And after a year, I really don't see I just don't really see it being a priority to me because I don't know how to do this stuff. I just talk. So, and there's more explained about things at the end. Not things, it's just more at the end. But anyways, well, let's just talk. This is like I said, a story based on a radio drama. And what we start off with is, and we're gonna, like I said, spoil, is you've got Atom Man coming after Metropolis. Now, Atom Man is a Superman movie serial from 1950. He was not in this radio drama. And he's powered by kryptonite, and kryptonite is not in the radio drama. Kryptonite was invented, I believe, on the radio drama. But I'm not 100% positive. There's a few subjects I'm going to be talking about besides the story itself, kind of an evolution of Superman, and why reboots and revisions and things are just necessary. And I know one cranky old fella we call Senda, he hates revisionist stuff. He hates all the revisionist Superman. Superman in the 50s is Superman. Well, this kind of shows you that Superman in the 40s was not Superman in the 50s. And Superman in the 50s was, it just changes every decade because things change. Medias change. Superman for the radio was different than Superman on the comics. Superman for TV was different than Superman in the comics because the media was different. And we'll talk about why. But let's talk about the story fast. Starts off with this stuff, which was... Actually, I didn't get through this very easily. It took me a little... Like, oh, this is kind of boring. What's this going on? He starts seeing his parents were not in the radio. I did listen to the radio drama. It's 3 hours. It's great, though. You see some Chinese family moving to Metropolis. They're moving from Chinatown. They are Chinese. I believe that's significant because it's 1946 and Japanese would be a... but this is an anti-bigotry book. And radio drama, which blew me away at how how progressive the radio drama was for 1946. They're coming to town. They move to town. This girl is hilarious. It's the best character. She is in the radio show, but not really at all. They developed her character for the book and really made it good. But they come to town because Dr. Lee, who is the father, got a job at the Department of Health, I want to say. But the big thing is, if we see the game, it's the baseball game. Yeah. This kid, Tommy Lee, which is the young son of Mr. Lee, has just a pitching arm like you wouldn't believe. And he strikes out their star. And he takes over the place of the star. And what turns out happening is the star goes and tells, and the star decides that he's going to mess with Tommy and crowd the plate. I'm not a baseball fan, some of this might not make sense, but he crowds the plate, and Tommy's telling him, come on, you're crowding the plate. I'm going to hit you. I don't want to hit you. You're over the line, and even the umpires tell him, just back up. You're in the lead, but you're going to get, you're too close. Back up. He won't do it. Throws the ball, tags him. Kid goes home hurt. He's living with his uncle because his father died, which really, it's in both things, but it doesn't make sense. His father, but anyways, and his father turns out to be a grand scorpion for the Klan. Not a wizard, a scorpion. They're being a little different, but not... And I'm telling both stories right now. It's in both. And in the book, he says, well, was the kid's name like Kowalski or... Oh, I forget, he names like an Italian name, an Irish name, a Jewish name. And he goes, no, Lee. And I would say in the radio drama, it went about 3-4 episodes before they mentioned that the Lees were Chinese in the book right away. And no, Lee. And the guy says, oh, no, those people don't belong in our town. And so you've got the Klan realizing that these Chinese people moved into town, that the father is now got a prominent job in town, that the kid is the pitcher that took out the nephew's spot. And next book, there's 3 books. God, she's so cute and funny. I love that character. And, so the Klan wants to take care of this family. They burn a cross on the front lawn of the family. In the book, on both things, the police show up. In the book, Inspector Henderson is black. Inspector Henderson was a character created for the TV show. He was not a black man. But this creates some tension in the book because the Chinese family does not want the black people helping them because they feel that will just cause more trouble with the Klan. And they're probably right. In the radio drama, the Chinese family wants to leave town right away, and Clark Kent convinces them that that's no good to run away. And, really the tolerance in the radio drama for 1946, you would think, I mean, how long ago was that? 70 years ago, maybe? And without doing the math in my head, my mom's in her 70s. She was born in 1941, so yeah, 70-ish. 69, I don't know. So 70 years ago, and the radio show was like, be a real American, and everyone, color, every race, every religion as well. It was really cool to hear that it was I didn't realize it was that progressive back then. I don't know why. I mean, it should be, so. But it was really cool to hear it, to enjoy the show, listening to them. Like Jimmy Olsen being shocked. It's like, well, why would they hate them? Superman goes, well, Jimmy, it's because they're Chinese. Jimmy's like, golly, what's that matter? He's a nice guy. I was like, yeah. But it did matter to a lot of people. But it didn't matter for the show that was popular as hell. So that was neat. And what they added, and then anyways, it goes on. I'll tell the whole, the story goes on. That the story goes on, they beat the Klan. The differences are, in this, the father is working for a government agency that made the robot, and I don't know, in the book they decided to add a few things like the exposure to and he quits the job, but that didn't need to be added. It really didn't. It didn't add to the story. What did add to the story was the kryptonite being brought in. The kryptonite caused Superman to hallucinate, like as if you watch the movie when he would get a hold of the crystal or whatever and he sees his family, and it's pre-recorded in a way, but he doesn't realize that he thinks he's talking to them. And they tell him he has more powers than he is letting loose. And it's because he didn't want to be different. Pretty neat aspect. He didn't want to be different than the humans because they might reject him. So here he is fighting for the rights of people who are different, but he's different. And he's not letting himself use his difference to help people. See, when there's a Superman story like this that contrasts his humanity and why he's not human, but he wants to be human, I've always loved those stories. And in it, he realizes he doesn't, in the book, he realized, this is not in the radio drama at all, these new powers. In the book, the little girl here realizes Superman doesn't jump, he flies. Because the first time he has to hold her and he has to jump a river. And he jumps the river and he has a hard landing and she throws up, which is funny because she's got a gurgly stomach, she says. She can't handle anything. Is this cover worth looking at now? Yeah, it's an okay cover. There's him running with her. We'll look at both these covers. I love both those covers. This one, but these are nice covers. So he jumps the river, and then another time he picks her up and he has to jump somewhere, and she's all tense, and as he lands, he slows his landing and lands softly. And she finally, tells him, you can fly. And he goes, no, I can't fly. I can just jump really far. Well, if you know the Superman story, when he came out in the comic books, he couldn't fly. He couldn't fly until, the radio drama was pretty quick after the comic books. I mean, Superman started in 1939. The radio drama started in 41. Technically, he first flew in a comic book. But that was because someone didn't know he couldn't fly and they drew him flying. So that's a trivial technical error. And a lot of people think he first flew in the Fleischer cartoon, the Max Fleischer cartoons, because leaping doesn't animate as well as flying. Fact is, he first flew on the radio show, and that's what this was bringing in. It was stuff that was first brought out on the radio show. First flew on the radio show because how do you describe a man leaping really far? It doesn't make sense, but you're listening to a radio show, and all they have to do is have Superman say, up, up and away, and make that whoosh noise, and it conveys flight. So Superman learned to fly on the radio show. Which, and that's some of the differences where I'm getting to, where different medias create different parts of his story. And the radio show really didn't pay attention to the comics one bit. They added characters, they changed characters, and a lot of that's always been the way, is something else will add stuff or take it away, and the comics adapt. I mean, I don't know if you know Harley Quinn. She did not premiere in any comic book. She was in the Batman cartoon, and then she became so popular, they put her in the comic books. Same with Inspector Henderson from the radio show, and I mean, Batgirl for the TV show of Batman. I mean, I could come up with hundreds of them, actually, but will get us off the story. I mean, that would be its own video of people who did not debut in comic books, that are in comic books. But, so he learns to fly in the comic that way by her telling him, and he figures it out. He learns his heat vision, X-ray vision from his ghosts of his parents telling him. And both books have a wonderful twist at the end. When the leader of the Klan is defeated, he wants to kill everybody, and he wants to get the person above him to help him just kill Perry White on the thing, and he wants to kill the police chief because he's black. He wants to kill Perry White in the radio show, and the leader of the Klan goes, we can't kill those people. They're too powerful. You're scaring people away from our cause. He goes, no, I'm getting people. Our cause is to support, our race. They never say it's to support white. It's just to support one race, one religion, one color. That's all they ever say. Both. They say that all the time. And the guy's like, no. I mean, what have you been doing with that 50% of every robe we sell to the new applicants? He goes, I keep it. I like money. He goes, yeah, and what do you do with the 25% of all the memberships that you recruit? He goes, I keep it. I'm not into the money. I want to spread our cause. The guy's like, you're an idiot. I don't care about our cause. I care about the money. And that was when they did it, I read it in the book. I'm like, that's a great addition. But then I listened to the radio show, and they had that. I was like, holy crap, that is so cool to me. I was blown away. That they weren't, that was the Klan on the show was just all about money. They didn't care about hatred or anything else, except the people in it cared. I got really, I'm probably an idiot. I got giddy. Anyways, so that to me is, so that's the big shocking end, and the fact that in the book that robot being I don't know, it was not what they were able to do. They had to add stuff because in the radio drama it ran 3 hours, but in the radio drama, like, there were 10 episodes or 10-minute episodes. They were like 16 10-minute episodes, every one of them sponsored by Kellogg's Pep cereal. But and then like 2 or 3 episodes was just a baseball game. And that played on the radio in 1946. I mean, you would sit there and listen to a dramatic telling of kids playing baseball. It made sense. 20 pages of kids playing baseball in a comic. It was like 3 panels. They had to get through certain parts really fast. But on the radio show, it was fine. I mean, really listening to that, it was fine. I mean, because different mediums can do different things. And so they always have to change. And that's kind of my part of what I'm getting. I mean, basically, I would listen to the radio show if you are into that sort of stuff. It's pretty much, I don't know if you've ever listened to a radio drama from the 40s. It's pretty much like listening to a book on tape. I mean, it's just a story and sound effects and voices, and I listened to them when I was a teenager all the time. Right before Dr. Demento came on Sunday nights, they ran about 3 hours of radio drama, and I would sit there and listen to the radio drama and pretty much fall asleep to Dr. Demento every weekend. I would listen to whatever they had, a comedy or drama, Lone Ranger, all of it. I was in high school, actually. I was wasn't a real little kid, but I liked it a lot. And I've always liked that. I've always been into that. Anything, telling the stories of Lone Ranger and Superman and Batman, characters I like. So, I don't know if you can find these 3 books. There are no comic book stores open. It has not been reprinted into a full volume, so that's why I didn't feel bad about spoiling it. Chances of you getting it or really caring about Superman. Nobody cares about Superman stories but me. And the chances of you listening to the radio drama are pretty nil. So, I have to say that's about it. It was fun. There might be more things I missed, but probably not. So, thank you for actually listening to me ramble about Superman. It's one of my favorite subjects. I tell you all kinds of things about when powers, and I mean, I'm no expert on comic books like I've been told I am. When it comes to Superman, I am well-knowledged. That's about it. I'm not an expert. I'm not super deep, but I know my Superman a little bit. All right. Well, thank you, folks. Have a good one, and enjoy the weirdness you're going to see in a minute. Well, howdy, folks. Thank you all for listening to me ramble. I assume I rambled about Superman for way too long, because I'm filming this before I film my Superman video. I am still thinking about exactly what I want to say. But if I'm talking about Superman, I rambled. People have wondered what I look like. I don't know why. I look like a person. I'm not huge on looks. I'm not ashamed or proud of my looks. I look like I look. When it comes to looks, I've always been into non-traditional looks on women. I've always been told I was wrong, that that's not a good-looking woman. That is. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, growing up, it was always Farrah Fawcett and Heather Locklear and all that were just the hottest women on TV. I'm like, no, I think that girl Amy from Bosom Buddies and Batgirl from Batman are the hottest girls on TV. So whatever, I don't know. Someone's going to think I'm the hottest thing there is. Someone else is going to think I look like Sasquatch. And why do I have a beard? This thing's ridiculous, isn't it? Well, since the 90s, I always had a Van Dyke. Not a goatee, a Van Dyke. The Van Dyke is the mustache and the bottom part. And I just decided about, in 2018 somewhere, let's let the Van Dyke grow really long and see how that looks. So I think it was September of 2018 I started letting it grow. And I would always have the sides shaved, and I'm wearing my hat because I haven't been able to get a haircut since July. Hair's just, I usually shave my head, or have my head shaved, I don't. So I would have the sides shaved off and the goatee brought down to or the Van Dyke brought down to a 2. So in September of 18, I'm just going to let it go. And I let it go until July of 19, and I don't know how long it got. And that's when I went and I had the sides shaved again, head shaved and everything, because I was going to see my mom in a family reunion and wanted to look nicer. And after that, you know, she kind of said, it looks good long. I like it long. And said, okay, I'll let it just keep going. It's like, whatever you do, Greg. I don't care. And decided it was about, it was July of 2019 that I just stopped shaving. So this is less than a year of all of this crap. It really could be trimmed up and look better. But I just figured let it go for a year or 2 years. Or, I don't know, hasn't everyone wanted to grow a big stupid beard once? That's all it is. I'm not, it can come off in a second. I look ridiculous, and I don't care. That's about it with this. I don't know if there's much else to say. You know, here it is. I've been in other people's videos. I've actually face shown in my own videos, but here you go. One of my favorite hats. It's a Superman hat with it's that Sabrina the Teenage Witch. We've got the Southside Serpents on the other side. I'm an Archie fan. I'm a Superman fan. I love Superman. So, there's much else to say. I know the reason I don't show a lot is because of my skills. I'm not a photographer. I don't have a setup at home to edit or really, I mean, I'm really working on my work desk. I don't have the space. I don't even have a space for a green screen, anything. So it's just really not a setup that's conductive, and editing's not my forte. You know, the word's fort, F-O-R-T-E, fort, not forte. Everyone says forte. The word is becoming forte because the dictionary has decided to keep up with illiteracy rather than correctness. Forte is that F you see on a musical notes. It means the music gets louder. Fort means a strong point. Both spelled the same, F-O-R-T-E. But editing's not my forte. Apparently, I was told by many people that storytelling is a strong point of mine. I'm a natural born storyteller, so I'm told. So I just tell stories. That's it. And I find it easier to say, right now I'm shooting up my nose, I'm all over the place. I'm not good at that. I'm not a camera guy. So I just found it easier just to set it up, tell a story, and see what it is. That's about it. So apparently some of you enjoy hearing my stories, and if you need to see what I look like once in a while, I'll show you. I don't care. You know, it's just I look like a person. That's it. All right. Have a good one.